everyone, welcome to the next video in this series of mushroom pictures from Johanna Basford's Small Victories using Polychromos pencils. I'm going to do this very cute picture today, which is a little set of washing hanging up supported by some mushrooms, so it's rather sweet. There we go. Now what do we have going on? Let's have a little look. I've got my Polychromos ready and I'm just having a look. Now let's do a sort of, should we do some orangey colours for this mushroom? I think it'd be a little bit different. Let me think, where should we start? Let's start with a mid-orange and then work from there, I think. So this is the orange glaze. I think I'd like to do all of them the same colour, so I'm just going to do a little bit at each end and fade it a bit so that we can put some more colours on. Don't worry if it's a little bit messy to start with. I am going to sharpen my pencil because mine's quite messy. There'll be plenty of opportunity to tidy it up as we go. There we go. I hope everyone's okay today. This is going to be quite a long series, but I'm having such a lot of fun with it, which is nice. So a few people suggested doing this page, so thank you to those people that did, and I hope those that didn't are still okay with it. I know some of you may have already done it. Okay, I'm now going to grab the cadmium orange, which is slightly lighter, and do a little more. So I'm going to go over what I've done and then take the colour towards the middle, accidentally colouring over some of the dots, which isn't really my intention, but if it happens, it happens. I want to try and put more layers down on that edge, even with this slightly lighter colour, like this. I will darken those edges a little bit more, I think, but we'll just get this colour done first. For me, I want a little bit more contrast between the edges and the centre, just to help make it look a little more rounded than it is, rather than just a flat 2D drawn shape. And I'm trying to think whether to go for the dark cadmium orange or whether to go for something a little bit even darker. I think I'll try the dark cadmium orange and see how it looks. That dress is a bit low, isn't it? It's all dragging in the dirt. Just trying not to have my so this is, I don't know if it's the deep or the dark. Let me dark cadmium orange, that's what it's called. And I'm just going to do those edges, fade that colour in a little bit on all of them. There we go, it's a little bit deeper and darker. It's not quite to my liking. I'm going to grab my orange glaze again and fiddle with it. So I'm going to go back over that and just blend it a bit more. It looks a bit messy for me in places. You don't have to do this step if yours is nice and even and neat. I mean, mine never will be that neat, but it can be a little bit better. There we go. So sunny today, it's quite a surprise. After so much rain last week, it's going to be quite chilly, I think, tonight. Now, I still want a little bit of darker edges. This is getting on my nerves. Sit there, still. Oh. There, no. There we go. That's better. So I now got a bit of a shadow where I've put something down on the page. I am going to use this colour. this is the burnt umber, and I'm going to use it just on the edges of these to make them very slightly darker. Now be careful when you're using such a dark colour, just gently stroke it on because you don't want to overdo it, but I just feel like those oranges aren't giving me enough depth. Just going to put a little bit on each one and then see how it looks. A bit better. I'm going to use some more. Maybe I'm being a little bit fussy, but why not? Now the dots, I quite often put something under them to make them look three-dimensional. I think with these we won't, we'll just leave them flat, just so it's a little bit different. And I might just use this burnt umber for them. And I'm thinking going darker at the bottom and then lighter towards the top of them. Just so they're different, because I usually do my dots lighter, particularly if they're large like this, but this is just a bit different. I quite like leaving them white as well, it just feels right, but you know, I don't want them all the same, so it's nice to do something a little bit different. And this dark colour I think contrasts nicely with the orange. For me anyway, I think it helps the orange to look a bit more vibrant and shiny. Now our stems, I'm going to use this colour as well, but a bit lighter like that. So dark here and then lighter as we go down. Maybe I'm being lazy, but it sort of ties it all together as well. There we are. Okay. Now I'm going to do the grass because I'm procrastinating doing the clothing. And what sort of colour? I think more of an earthy green. I'm going to pick up this earth green yellowish. I think it all sort of matches with the orange and browns really well. And so I'm just going to do it all the same colour really. And then once I've done it, I'll decide whether I think it needs any darker bits. I may just leave it this colour. We'll see. But we need to do our clothing. Now I'm looking, you have this dress. Now I'm thinking orange goes quite nicely with purple. There's a sort of clash which works nicely, I think. My son doesn't agree with me, but yeah. But actually I'm just grabbing the brown ochre to do the clothes pegs because I might forget. Keep them, they're usually really pale wood, so I'm keeping them really pale. There we go. So I'm going to do a sort of violet dress, I think. I'm going to do it all over in violet, and then I'm going to think about whether I want to do anything with it after. I'm wondering whether to make it into a striped dress. Now under here is darker, we can see that Johanna's marked it up for us to show us it's darker because we're looking inside. So I'm going to just make that quite considerably darker, but then grab my mauve and make my dress into a striped dress. So vertical stripes I think will be easier for us. I'm going to try and sort of copy the shape of the dress. These lines are very helpful, like that. Yep, I'm going to make those stripes a bit thicker as we come down. Okay, I'm also going to use my mauve in this shaded bit. There we go. Now the trousers. We've got like a little waistband, and then gosh, they're like bell bottoms, aren't they? We could do a blue. I think would match quite nicely. This one. This is the cobalt blue-greenish, and I'm thinking maybe this sort of waistband might be a slightly different colour, but I don't know. I think I'll just do it all the same and then put another colour over the top after. So I'm thinking they're not jeans. I didn't want to pick that sort of denim-y colour. They just don't look like jeans to me. They don't really have a good denim, I don't think. Although of course jeans come in lots of colours. So I'm going to use the indigo. Got the dark indigo. Oh, I just spilt pencil shavings on the desk. There we go. Now we'll do it inside here. Like that, and it helps to give some depth to the, so it looks more like we're looking inside. The trouser leg, where it's blowing up in the wind. And then I'm thinking I'll put a little bit on the waistband here. Oh, it's a very noisy train going by, just to make it look a little bit different. And then I am going to just put a little bit of shadow on the grass, just a tad, using the chromium green opaque. You don't need to do this. But I'm thinking maybe underneath these mushrooms, it might be casting a bit of a shadow, maybe around their stems, like that, and then maybe the clothing. But this is such a small amount of colour, it might not even really look like I've done very much, but just a little bit. Now I'm going to just use a tiny bit of white before we finish. I'm going to use my Jelly Roll 5, and I'm going to put a little bit on these mushrooms. I feel like I just want to put a little bit on the bottom of these circles. And then, whoops. And I'm going to put a bit on the trousers, there's some dots. Like we've got a little bit of embroidery on them. Like that. Put some dots on the dress too, on each stripe. It sort of softens it a little bit and makes it look prettier. I'm no dress designer, but I think that might look nicer. There we go. I think we're done. So yes, quite a simple one, but lots of fun. Yeah, so thank you for watching. Hoping you have a lovely day. Yeah, happy covering.